If you have ever felt like you are working harder and harder, and somehow gaining less and less actual freedom as you go, I want to walk you through a story that explains exactly why. It is not a dramatic story, it is an ordinary one, which is exactly what makes it so devastating for families and for missions built in the wrong framework. Think about a multi-generational family farm. The grandfather worked that land his whole life. He believed with everything in him that it was his. He willed it to his son. His son took out loans against the land's equity to modernize. He fought zoning restrictions to build housing for his own children on the property. He spent years navigating regulations just to use the land the way he believed was right. When the son passed, the estate entered probate, a public, state-administered process to validate the transfer of his ownership to the next generation. Inheritance taxes claimed a significant portion. Prime acreage had to be sold just to settle the bill. The surviving family found themselves stewards of a diminished asset, and they found themselves burdened by debt, governed by a web of regulations dictating what they could plant, what they could build, what they could alter on what they were told was theirs. The chain of title was perfectly clear. The legal ownership was indisputable. And yet, with each passing generation, their actual freedom to use that land according to their values and their vision shrank. Their ownership was an illusion, a piece of paper that granted them responsibility while ceding actual authority to creditors and government agencies. They served the farm, they served the bank, they served the state. They were owned by what they owned. That story is not an exception. That is the design. That is where the ownership road leads for every family, every ministry, every mission built inside Babylon's framework. Before ownership, before Babylon, before any of this, God established a completely different framework. As it is written, Genesis 2:15 says, "The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it." Two Hebrew words define that commission: abad, to serve; shamar, to guard, protect, and preserve. That is the original job description. Not to own, to steward. To manage faithfully on behalf of the true owner, accountable for how the resources are used. The owner asks, "How do I protect what is mine?" The steward asks, "How do I faithfully manage what belongs to the one who entrusted it to me?" The owner's security depends on market conditions, legal outcomes, and the preservation of a title. The steward's security depends on the character and faithfulness of the owner himself. That is not a lesser position, that is a higher one. Think about Joseph in Egypt. He exercised immense authority over a nation's entire wealth, but he never claimed any of it as his own. He stewarded it through famine. He saved a nation. He preserved his own family, all while operating under delegated jurisdiction. His power was real, but it was derived from above, not grasped from below. And because of that, his freedom to act was immense while the people around him were in chains. When Psalm 24:1 says, "The earth is the Lord's and everything in it," that is not a devotional phrase. That is a legal declaration about ultimate ownership. It tells you who the real owner is and what your actual role is. You were never here to build your empire. You were commissioned to govern his estate. So here is where to start. Not with paperwork, not with filing anything new, not yet. The first step begins in the quiet of your own heart. With a prayerful and intentional renunciation of the ownership lie, look at what is under your care right now. Your business, your property, your content, your message, your ministry. And one by one, in honest declaration, release the inner claim of mine. Reaffirm what has always been true. This is yours, God. I am its steward, not its owner. I hold it in trust for your purposes. That act of surrender breaks the spiritual power of the ownership mindset. It transfers the weight of ultimate security off your shoulders and back to the only one capable of bearing it. Everything that follows on this channel flows from that internal foundation. You cannot build in the right jurisdiction until you know you are not the owner. The next video in this series pulls back the curtain on the system itself. Because once you understand how Babylon is built and what it is actually designed to do, you will never look at a contract, a license, or a corporate structure the same way again. That video is called Babylon versus the Kingdom, the system you are actually living in. It is already up. The link is in the description. If this video gave you a new lens today, subscribe so you do not miss what is next. And share it with someone who has been building faithfully but is beginning to feel the weight of the wrong framework. Ownership binds, stewardship sets free. That is divine law. Not by rebellion, but by alignment. Not by escape, but by stewardship. I will see you in the next one.